Hey everyone, it's Orly here with the Cubica AMF Tech Tip podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we, as I always have a guest host, take you on a journey through the fascinating world of bowling technology and beyond. And just like always, I do have a special guest today. Today I have returning Kyle Burns. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Orly.
How was your holiday, first off?
It was nice. Got to see the folks, got to hang out a little bit, relax. Just a good time.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, same here. It was I felt like it was a long time leading up to the holiday. As you might have saw, we did some videos on Facebook, people like kind of giving holiday greetings, and we were sharing traditions. And one of our traditions is with my kids is the first snow of the year, we set up our Christmas tree. So our Christmas tree has been up since October 31st. So it's kind of been like a long Christmas in a way, it's kind of seemed like Christmas has been here forever. But the holiday is over, Christmas tree is down, and it's time to get back to work. But again, thank you for joining the show. So Kyle, today what I wanted to bring up is I know I've helped out in a family bowling center, and I know there was something that was told to us that we want to do weekly as far as kind of rebooting, your system. And I know some people probably don't get to do it weekly. They probably end up doing it, every couple weeks. Some people probably wait monthly. Some people probably don't even do that. So I know I wanted to first off just kind of first off, let's backtrack a little bit. I'm sorry, Kyle. For those of you that are new to the show, Kyle, what is your position with Cubic AMF?
Yeah, so I'm here at Cubic AMF Technical Support Department. I am the documentation specialist as well as the second shift supervisor. So basically what I do is one, provide the sort of late night escalation if you're calling in a little late or kind of right when you're getting started over on the West Coast, basically. I'm kind of the one overseeing our small group of techs that we have in that late, but also I'm the one responsible for writing a lot of the external documentation in regards to like troubleshooting, how to, technical advice, types of things for the Conqueror system, scoring system, all that good stuff.
Okay. So again, sorry about that. I guess I just assumed everybody knows Kyle Burns, but so
That's all right.
back to what I was saying here. So again, if they're going to reboot, whether it's Conquer or just kind of reboot their whole system, first off, what is the main reason for wanting to do this?
Yeah, so a lot of these things, scoring components, Conquer components, all these things, they're all electronic devices. You've got mains voltage running through it constantly all day long, heat generation, all that kind of stuff. Not really a great idea to keep this stuff constantly running 24/7 indefinitely. I'm sure some of us probably have an old laptop or an old desktop at home or something that we maybe have forgot about, keep that thing running and going. And, probably notice, forgot last time, when did I shut this down last? When did I reboot this last? You get on it, try to just open a web browser or something, like, man, this thing is taking forever to load, or this thing is starting to throw errors at me and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, it's probably because frankly, it's just been on too long.
Yeah, this is probably gonna make you cringe. But one thing that drives me crazy that my kids like to do is the computer's on the laptop and they just close it. And I'm like, don't do that. At least put it to sleep or something. They just like to slam it down. You can hear the audio still playing in the background. I'm like, ah. So again, so this is going to be something they want to do weekly.
Yeah, I would recommend that you do it weekly, especially your Conqueror computers. They're Dell computers. They're on the Windows operating system. Anybody that's used any computer in probably the last, I don't know, 20, 25 years is probably familiar with Windows to some extent. From Windows 10, Windows 8 a little bit, but Windows 10 and especially Windows 11, Microsoft has been very, very pushy, should we say, in terms of keeping the OS up to date. They're constantly putting out updates, usually security updates, sometimes feature updates, quality of life updates, but they really want you to stay up on the current updates. And if you wait too long, doesn't really matter if you're just a home user or a business user or even a large enterprise user. Microsoft will say, look, you need to update this. You've been putting it off. We're going to do it. And we're going to do it whenever we want. And this could be a big problem if you're trying to run a business and Microsoft says, yeah, hey, you haven't updated Windows in 2 weeks. We really need this done. Oh, hey, it's 5:30. Yeah, we're going to do it right now.
Oh, wow.
And maybe this will take 5 minutes. Maybe it'll take an hour. I don't know. Maybe you'd kind of just have to wait, because honestly, trying to cancel it or do something else with it, please don't do that, because this can cause significant issues within the operating system, massive stability issues, and this is probably just going to cost you even more time being down than if you just stay patient and just wait for it to do its thing.
Okay. And okay, as far as rebooting it, what is the best steps? How can they do this? What's the easiest way for them to do this?
Yes. So I I don't want to say this in a disparaging way, but there's a difference between the computer monitor and the computer. If you hit the little power button on your computer monitor and the screen goes black, you turned off the monitor. You didn't turn off the computer. The computer's still running. Obviously, probably a good idea to turn off the monitor when the computer's done, because otherwise, there's no point in the monitor being on. Like, say, if you're shutting down for the night. But don't mistake turning off the monitor with turning off the computer. Number one, if you quit out of Conqueror on any of the computers, you'll be at what's called the Windows desktop. If you look down for Windows 10 and 11, depending on the settings, down in the lower left-hand corner, there's a kind of what's called the Windows key. It's a little Windows icon for the start menu. You hit that, there should be a power icon right there. Just click that and click shutdown. It'll shut it down for you. Windows 11, that may be more kind of in the middle of the taskbar at the bottom of the screen, or it may be on the left-hand side. It depends on your settings. But that's the proper way to make sure that the system fully shuts down. It shuts down cleanly. Turn it back on. You're going to have to know where the actual computer physically is. More than likely, it's under the desk there, or possibly, depending on the form factor of it, the monitor might even be on top of the computer itself. Just locate the power button on the front of it, hold that in for a second or two, and you should see the lights come on and it'll start running. The other obvious main component would be your scoring system components. Now, luckily, the scoring components are what's on what we call the lane communication or LCOM system, where there's one main LCOM device that's going to effectively be powering just about everything else, like your camera board, your machine interface. Those are all being powered by one main device, depending on which scoring system you have. If you have Bolan, that's going to be your VDB that's up behind the overhead monitors. If you have BESS, that's going to be either your RDB or 3QT, the big silver box up on the curtain wall. And if you have BESS-X, it's either going to be your 4HD hub or 5HD hub, the, again, silver box up on the curtain wall. Easiest way to shut that down is simply just unplug the power to that lane control box, whether it be the 4HD, 5HD hub, 3QT, RDB, or VDB. Simply just unplug the power to it, and you've powered down the entire scoring system. Obviously, to reboot it, just plug the power back in. I would recommend doing it manually that way and not through the breakers, simply because altering the voltage through the breakers could possibly create some communication glitches during the boot up of the scoring system, where we've seen where doing it that way, you could wind up with intermittent no-com conditions within Conqueror, or spurious errors, usually something like an error 163, or even a kind of phantom error, probably like 200 or 202, simply because power went to one device before another device, and therefore the communication link wasn't established in the proper order. So there could be some issues when you do it from the breaker. So we'd recommend don't try to shut them off through the breaker. It takes a little longer, but do it manually. Do it, pair by pair, and make sure that they're all booted off. Again, you don't have to leave these off for any huge extended amount of time. I mean, if you want to on like a Sunday night or something before you leave, if you wanted to unplug all of the lane hardware from power and leave it unplugged overnight and plug it in the morning, that's perfectly okay. I mean, if you just want to unplug it for a minute or two and plug it back in, that's fine too. Just a note on that too. If you don't remember the last time you've done it and you start seeing any kind of strange scoring issues, like maybe you see that certain balls might not be scored properly, or the speed doesn't post properly, or machine control kind of becomes a little bit flaky at times. If you don't remember the last time, and especially if it seems kind of intermittent and it's a very specific pair, or is kind of intermittent and across the house of random pairs, if you aren't sure when the last time you did a real good reboot of any of the lane scoring components, I'd recommend start off. Go ahead and do that. Just do a reboot and see if that actually clears it up. Because it could just be, I mean, you maybe you've been busy, you forgot about it, and maybe it's been 6 weeks, 8 weeks since you've unplugged it. Kind of the same deal with earlier, like, trying to use a computer, your computer at home. You haven't rebooted in a month or two and you try to open the web browser and it doesn't really want to work right. Kind of the same thing with scoring. This thing's been running and running and running and, going through and doing this over and over and over again. And now, it's been up for so long, like, it's just starting to run into a little bit of glitches. Sometimes that's really all it takes. I'm sure any of you have had internet issues, with Comcast, Charter, Verizon, anything like that. I'm sure the script. Anytime you call them, what's the first thing they say? Reboot the router. Did you reboot it? Go do it. Yeah, it was honestly kind of the same thing. If you're running into issues with these, take the couple minutes, do the reboot, see what happens. You'd be surprised how frequently just doing that quick reboot really just kind of clears up the whole thing. But obviously, if you try that and, hey, still going on and I don't know what to do next, give us a call, shoot us an email. That's what we're here for.
All right. And what is the number again, Kyle, for them to contact you?
It's 866-460-7263. And then option 3 puts you through to tech support. Then our email is techs, TECHS @QAMF.net. They'll get you right into our queue. As soon as a tech here is available, they'll grab that and get right back on with you, either through an email. If you want to call, you leave a number in your email, give you a call back and we'll get with you.
All right. Sounds good. So guys, you heard it here. Kyle said it's not that hard to do. So let's not wait 6 weeks, 3 months, 4 months. It's a new year. So let's start off the new year good and make sure you're rebooting and following directions here so you have no issues. And again, Kyle, I appreciate you doing the show today. Thank you for taking the time. I know everyone's busy around the holidays, but I definitely appreciate it. And we will talk to everyone again soon on the next Tech Tip podcast.